Hi everyone, I just thought I'd make you a quick video to walk you through some of the things that I've had some questions about. I'm Simone, so it's good to finally meet you all, and let's just have a look. I've made this document to help you as well, and you'll all get access to that too. So let's have a look here. So basically with the first phase that we're doing now, we're creating all the content that later on we're going to put into the slides, which will be our modules. So you'll see at the top of the document, at the top of that huge table, is all of these headings. I'm going to go through each of the headings, and then you'll see it just goes on a long list down for all the progression markers, and that's where you'll be adding in your content to whichever row that you choose out of those progression markers. So I'm trying to align the progression markers that I'm doing with things that I will need for my program next term, so that I'm not doubling up on anything. And I thought if you all do the same sort of thing as well, hopefully this is not a whole lot of extra work for you. So I'll just start straight away. So the first one here is the progression marker. So basically I've put, as you'll see here in this tool, in the document, that it goes all the way down, because they're like to 100 pages because there are so many progression documents. I've tried to add in one at the top just to show you what I mean, but basically that's why it's taking a long time to load, because there are so many pages. So yeah, you will choose, but basically you will then choose one of these. So here I have an example, when it loads, of I'll just wait for it to load. I'll go back to this one till it loads. Yes, this will be of the ones that I have chosen. So I might choose use common cohesive devices, and then I'll just add in my content along here. If you want to have a look at the grammar ones, those are the ones that I've actually done so far. So that might give you sort of an idea of what I'm thinking in terms of all of the content. So just go down to grammar. Okay. So let's just have a look here. So progression marker, that is where I'm going to find the progression marker. It lists the main progression markers in the literacy continuum that learners would be focusing on. These are in order, they're in an order. I haven't chosen every single one. I've sort of knocked off a few from the beginning and from the end, only because generally I find that our learners are within are not really at those tail ends at the moment. We're not really doing the gifted and talented and the moving along. I'm sort of thinking of those more struggling learners. They're in order of the progression because I want to provide systematic progression for students to work at their level. So the whole point of this is that, unlike all the other things that we have, we can actually plot our students on the lines of the progression markers, and we'll be able to give them a module every time that they progress, and that we're still assessing them and teaching them, but this will just help them to move through that, and it will become quite personalised. There should be one bullet point per row. As there are so many of them, I've found that such a long, tedious task that on some of them I haven't created a row for each bullet point, so feel free to do that. All you have to do is right click and press insert another row and select the words and cut and paste. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry about it, just highlight the one that you're doing and I'll do that for you later on. Then you'll find learning intention is the next heading. We just want it to be child friendly with the wording of the progression marker. So we want them to know why they need to learn this. So try and not use too much sort of technical vocab, because a lot of the time I find that confuses the students that I work with. I'm not sure about all of you. So rather than using phonics, I might say sounds or that type of thing. So it could be something like, I can blend 4 sounds to spell new words. That way they know why they're trying to learn this. I'm sure you've all done learning intentions and success criteria, but I'm just trying to make the format very the same for everyone. I'm making it formatted. So then you go to success criteria. We want it to be very specific, child-friendly I can statements. Break it down into exactly what you'll see after the lesson. So I can write a list of words with 4 sounds. I can use words with 4 sounds in my sentence. And so that way, when we do work out how we're going to assess this, whether it's in a video conference or they upload their work or whatever they do, we can say, yes, they've met that marker and they know that's what they have to do to meet that marker. Again, probably something that you're all doing anyway. Okay, then the next heading is part 1. And in I've basically made it part 1 and part 2, then practice. And that's because a lot of the time the kids that we work with, they can't sort of digest all of these instructions all at once. So a concept that sounds simple might actually need to be broken down twice or segmented just so that they can really understand each instruction, as I'm sure you will have seen with your students. So for part 1, we want a modelled resource. So you're basically introducing the topic. Preferably, this would be where we all had our own YouTube channel and we would all be uploading our own, talking through the model of our lessons. But as we're not going to have time to be able to do that right now, we would just see if we can get some videos from the internet that model the concept. So this can be a video of you if you want, or a YouTube video or a presentation, but it needs to explicitly show the target focus. So a student should be able to watch that video and be able to say, oh, Bossy E makes vowel sounds like their name. So A sounds like A. So try to find good quality videos that are around 5 minutes. I have been searching, so I know how hard this is. A lot of the time I'm finding a lot of Indian content and a lot of ESL, but from other countries, so from Spanish people learning to speak English or Indian people learning to speak English, which is great and fine because they've got really good cartoons and explicit lessons. However, sometimes the content can be quite dense, or the accent can make it difficult for some of the students to understand. So just keep that in mind when you're looking. Try and find the best quality video that you can find. Before putting the video in, like before typing it in, just putting in the thing, right, watch this video. So what we're trying to do is have a script that as the children open each page, it will have an instruction like watch this video, and then it will have the video. So you write watch this video, and hopefully when we're doing the slides, we can insert audio for all the instructions. So it will actually say, they can click on something and it will read the instruction, watch this video. Then they watch it and then it will say activity 1 as you've got the wording. So make the wording exactly what you want the instruction to be for the students and what you'll be saying in the audio. So let me see here. Hopefully that makes sense. But again, anything that I'm saying that is confusing, just contact me and I'll try and clear everything up. Okay, so then you're going to have the activity. So the activity, one activity, so that means not an online game, but an actual activity that you write down, again, making the language really short and direct and in student speak so the students can read it or they can listen to the audio. And it can say, first go and get your book, write 4 sentences, that type of thing. I'm sure you all know how to do that. So again, I've tried to do my version of that in the grammar one. So if you want to scroll down to the grammar and have a look at what I've done in my rows, that's the sort of idea that I've got. And I think I've done one in phonemic awareness as well. I'm just trying to churn through and do as many as I can. So if you want to look through and see what I mean by that type of language. But don't sort of stress over it because we'll work in partners later on and make sure that we have got a consistent format for the speaking. Okay, so all the instructions need a visual. Best practice is that you have text, visual and audio. So we'll work on the audio together, but you will need to have a visual. So even if that is just like a box that you've drawn, or which like we can draw in the slide later on, or whether you want to get a photo or that type of thing, that just needs to have an image to go with that instruction so that they can see what it is that you're trying to get them to do. Again, have a look at my examples. I've tried to do that where possible, but I'm sure it could be better. So you can either, now you might want to link a picture of the resource that you have in your Google Drive, or if you don't have this and you don't know how to do this, just write picture to be inserted, and I'll show you how to do that later on. So basically just find a picture that can go with that activity, and then we'll work out how to put that up later, or you can just put the link straight into that picture. Okay, so then we'll have part 2. Again, you're having another modelled resource. This is the same as the above, but to do it further. So it's just reinforcing the concept or the instruction a little bit more, and maybe providing a second piece of information if it was a segmented instruction. Then you're going to have an online game or an activity. An online game. So try to find one, if possible, with audio. Again, I've been finding a lot that have sort of been made by teachers, which is still great, but they might not be really exciting, engaging games. But whatever we can find, we can find. But for this one where you've got part 2, try and find one that has audio at least, so students can hover over it and it will say the word if they can't hear it, or the instruction. Yes, so that will be the online game. Then the next slides will be extra practice. So we just want to have a couple of online games that are sort of practice. So these might not be as good as your first one. You want to use your first one first in part 2, but then after that just try and find 2 more so that kids can just keep that practice up and keep having a go in different formats so that they don't lose interest. And then also 2 activities. So that those activities could be writing something, it could be make a chatterbox and put this, whatever you think, as you would normally teach. Just make sure again that it's those clear instructions as though they're reading it themselves, and we need to have some sort of image as well just to help them if they don't know how to make a chatterbox even with the instructions. So whether you can find a photo or something, just try and keep, again, you can just write in there photo to be uploaded if you found one, but just try and keep where you found it from so we can keep in with copyright laws and acknowledge all our sources. So you'll have 2 online games, 2 activities, and that's just an example there of the activities. Activity, you will need glue, scissors, pencil, instructions, and again, just having... So again, it could be activities, could be writing activities, and where possible provide a resource. So for example, if I said, write a list of words that begin with P, if that's what they'd been with the P sound, using rainbow writing, then I might say, you can use this to help you spell, and I'll insert a link to like a free phonics mat so that they can, as they're trying to spell it out in their books, just look at the phonics mat to help with their spelling. The next column is a feedback comment bank, so that we can just collate a whole lot of comments, just as you would when you're doing reports. It's good to have like a bank of comments. Obviously you personalise all of these, but we would probably have the need to have some sort of feedback on when the students are uploading the work. And when you've got student work coming in from all over the place, it's good just to have some quick pick and choose comments for that. So we always want to have one positive comment that's like, I like how you used in your sentence about a clown. I like how you used in your sentence about the clown, and we can always just add in the clown. Or I like how you whatever. And then a constructive comment that is either a working towards comment if we see that they haven't got it, or an extension comment if they have got it, just to extend them there. So it could be something like, the working towards would be something like, I can see that you worked really well trying to do the ands for your words. Try to make sure that all the words with an are vowel words. All the words coming after an are vowel words. Have another turn at writing some vowel words with an in front of them, or something like that. Or you would choose to do an extension comment. So now that you can write these articles and an successfully, have a go at writing a story or something that you can extend them with that and an. Maybe now write I think I did write a book to show other people, teach younger students how to do and an, or something else. I think I did write a series of books, or you can just something that extends them and gets that sort of creative. They just want to keep practicing that and maybe developing it a little bit more, but not